What if I told you that aging, as you know it, is a lie, and that it's possible to reverse this process with 5 simple, science-backed exercises that have been hidden from you for millennia? One of these exercises is so crucial that a scientific study proved that your inability to do it increases your risk of dying in the coming years by up to 5 times. And I'm going to show you which one it is in the next few seconds. This lost knowledge comes from an ancient Egyptian sage, Thoth, who legends say lived for thousands of years. He left behind the keys to unlocking the body's regenerative power, and modern science is finally confirming what he already knew. In this video, I'm going to reveal all 5 rituals to you, but the 5th and final secret is the most shocking because it activates a kind of anti-aging armor in your body. Stay with me until the end, because what you're going to learn today isn't just about living longer, it's about living better, and it could change the rest of your life. If you're ready to challenge time, comment below. I am the master of my body. He who has health has hope, and he who has hope has everything. This ancient knowledge didn't come out of nowhere. It was preserved and passed down by a legendary being, known in ancient Egypt as Thoth, the god of wisdom. But before he was a god, the legends say he was a priest-king in Atlantis, a civilization that reached a level of spiritual and technological development we can barely comprehend. There, in crystal temples, Thoth didn't just rule. He drank directly from the source of universal wisdom, understanding the fundamental laws that govern life, death, and the very structure of reality. He lived for millennia, not through magic, but through mastery over the energies that animate the body and consciousness. When the great catastrophe submerged his homeland, Thoth departed in an ark, not to save animals, but to save wisdom itself. He traveled to the land that would become Egypt and brought with him the knowledge of Atlantis, recorded on an artifact of unimaginable power, the mythical Emerald Tablet. This text didn't contain commandments or prohibitions, but rather axioms, universal laws that described how the cosmos works. As above, so below, one of its most famous phrases reveals that the human being is a microcosm, a miniature universe containing within itself all the powers and principles of the macrocosm. Thoth taught that man is not a fragile creature, a victim of time and decay. He is a mortal god, a spiritual being inhabiting a physical body with the inherent power to transcend mortality. His wisdom wasn't an abstract philosophy to be debated, but practical and applicable knowledge about how to align the body and mind with the cosmic flow of life. He understood that aging, as we know it, is a dissonance, a disconnection between our physical body and our energetic essence. And he knew exactly how to restore that connection, how to rewire the body's circuits so it could vibrate at a frequency of continuous vitality and regeneration. What Thoth knew from direct experience, our modern science is now, millennia later, beginning to discover through experiments. Scientists studying epigenetics are proving that our genes are not our destiny. We can activate or deactivate longevity genes through our lifestyle, our thoughts, and, crucially, our movements. What Thoth called aligning with the cosmic flow, science today calls optimizing gene expression and mitochondrial function. It's the same truth, spoken in different languages. The human body is not just a shell of flesh and bone, it's an instrument of power, and Thoth left the instructions on how to tune it. To unlock this dormant potential in our DNA, he didn't leave behind complex texts or inaccessible rituals. He left a legacy of body practices, movements that are like energetic keys. These are 5 sacred movements, 5 rituals that form the foundation of his science of immortality. Each movement is not just a physical exercise, it's an act of realignment, a way to tune the body to higher frequencies of energy. They are designed to awaken the dormant life force at the base of the spine, what yogis call Kundalini, and raise it up, revitalizing every cell and organ in its path. These 5 rituals are the steps of a ladder that take us back to our original nature, one step at a time on the journey to reverse not only the signs of aging, but the very idea that time has power over us. They are the body's technology for preparing the physical temple to hold the light of the spirit. And the first of these secrets, the first key to unlocking that door, is a movement so fundamental, so primal, that most of us have completely forgotten it. A simple act that reconnects us to a force that literally keeps us from dying prematurely. The first secret: hang to grab more life. And this first key, the first sacred ritual, is a return to our deepest heritage, a movement that our cells remember even if our conscious mind has forgotten. The act of hanging. Think about it. Our primate ancestors lived in trees, and the ability to suspend themselves by their own weight was essential for survival. Today we live in chairs, and this disconnection from our original design comes at a devastating cost. The simple act of hanging from a bar, even for just a few seconds, begins an immediate healing process. It uses gravity in our favor, decompressing the spine, creating space between the vertebrae that have been crushed by years of poor posture and a sedentary lifestyle. But the power of this movement goes far beyond relieving back pain. It rebuilds the functional strength of the shoulders, the most mobile and unstable joint in the human body, restoring the freedom of movement we've lost. However, its deepest and most surprising benefit lies in a biological marker that modern science has only recently decoded as one of the most accurate indicators of longevity: grip strength. The strength with which you can squeeze your hand, your ability to hold on, is directly tied to your overall vitality. It reflects your neurological and muscular health. Rigorous scientific studies, such as one published in the prestigious British Medical Journal, revealed a shocking truth. They tracked thousands of people over the years and discovered that weak grip strength is one of the strongest predictors of early death, even more so than blood pressure. A weak grip is directly linked to a higher risk of heart disease, respiratory problems, and all-cause mortality. The conclusion is inescapable and clear. Gripping more strongly is, literally, holding on to more life. Every time you hang and strengthen your grip, you are sending a powerful signal to your entire system that you are strong, capable, and alive. In Thoth's Hermetic philosophy, the principle of correspondence tells us, as above, so below. When you hang, you place yourself in an in-between state, suspended between heaven and earth. Your body stretches, creating space not just physically but energetically. You become a bridge, a channel for life force to flow freely. Thoth taught that the body must be strong and flexible to house an expanded consciousness. This exercise is not just a workout, it is an act of cosmic realignment, a fine-tuning of your physical instrument so it can vibrate at a higher and longer-lasting frequency, resisting entropy. Imagine that every second you spend hanging, you are rewriting your body's contract with time. You are challenging the narrative of decay, declaring your intention to remain strong. A 61-year-old student who could barely hold her own weight began with just 1 second of hanging, with her feet supported on a chair. Week after week, she persisted. Before long, she reached 30 seconds with no support at all, feeling her shoulders free from a chronic pain that had haunted her for decades. She didn't just strengthen muscles, she reclaimed a piece of her bodily sovereignty. This simple act of hanging can, in fact, add years to your life and life to your years. But it is only the first key, the first step to awakening your body's power. It opens the upper channels, but to truly reverse the flow of time, you need to reconnect with the foundation, with the earth itself. And that brings us to the second secret, a movement we have lost, and in losing it, we sacrificed our humanity and our independence. After opening the upper channels of the body, we must descend, reconnect with the earth. And the second secret is not an exercise invented in a modern gym, it is the rediscovery of humanity's original and natural resting position, the deep squat. Look at traditional cultures around the world, or simply observe a small child playing. They rest comfortably in this position for long periods. For millennia, our ancestors cooked, socialized, and simply existed while squatting, maintaining a direct connection to the energy of the earth and perfect joint health. We have lost this ability. The invention of the chair was perhaps one of the greatest disasters for human health. By sitting at 90-degree angles for hours on end, day after day, we have essentially put our bodies in a cast. The result? Loss of ankle mobility, shortening of the hip flexors, pelvic floor dysfunction, and a cascade of problems that culminate in chronic lower back pain and, eventually, the loss of our independence. Failing to be able to squat is a divorce from our own body, a disconnection from our most fundamental way of being and resting. This ancient wisdom has been dramatically validated by modern science through a study published in the European Journal of Preventive Cardiology. Researchers developed something called the sit and rise test. The task was simple: sit on the floor and stand back up, using as little support as possible. The result was alarming. Individuals who needed lots of help to stand, such as using both hands and both knees, were 5 times more likely to die in the next 6 years compared to those who could do it without any support. Each point of support needed corresponded to a 21% increase in mortality risk. The deep squat is the foundational base for mastering this test. It is the movement that restores the mobility and strength needed to move freely between the ground and an upright position. So the ability to squat is not optional. It's not a party trick or an athlete's workout. It's survival training. Reclaiming the ability to deep squat is reclaiming your basic human function. It is reclaiming your youth and your autonomy. It's telling your body and the world that you refuse to become fragile and dependent. When you squat, you return to the ground, to the foundation. You bow in humility before the wisdom of your own body, allowing your joints to realign and heal naturally. Energetically, this is a grounding position. It promotes the flow of vital energy, known as prana or chi, through your lower energy centers, connecting you to the Earth's electromagnetic field and anchoring you in the present moment. Losing the ability to connect with the earth in this way is, in essence, beginning to float away from life, losing your foundation and your stability. Reclaiming the squat is a revolutionary act in a world that wants us sitting and passive. It is a crucial step in regaining your fundamental independence. But being able to descend to the ground in a squat is only half the battle. The true test of vitality, the ultimate proof that you command your body and not the other way around, is what you do next. It is the ability to reverse the movement and rise against gravity, an act that symbolizes far more than physical strength. The third secret, rising from the ground, is rising from death. The ability to get up from the ground without using your hands is the invisible line that separates dependence from independence. It is the ultimate test of your functional vitality, the undeniable proof that your body still serves your will and not the other way around. Think about what it means to lose this ability. It means a simple fall could become a prison sentence. It means playing on the floor with your grandchildren turns into a high-risk activity. Losing this ability is losing your freedom. It's becoming a prisoner in your own home, in your own body. Every time you need a piece of furniture or someone's hand to help you up, a small part of your sovereignty slips away. The same sit and rise test that so brutally reveals the risk of mortality also, fortunately, illuminates the path to longevity. It is not just a diagnostic tool. It's a training guide. With every transition you master, from the ground to a standing position, with less and less support, you are literally rewriting your future. You are affirming your life force, sending a message to every cell in your body that you are resilient, strong, and capable. Training to sit and stand from the floor is not about building muscles to impress. It's about preserving dignity, autonomy, and life itself. Hermetic philosophy, echoing Thoth's teachings, states that man on earth is a mortal god. This act of rising, of standing up against the relentless pull of gravity using only the power generated by your own body, is a physical manifestation of that spiritual truth. It's your inner divinity expressing itself through movement. It's a declaration that you are the master of your physical temple, able to rise again from any fall, both literally and metaphorically. It is the embodiment of resilience, the ability to get back up after being knocked down. One student at 60 years old shared her simple but profound dream. She wanted to be able to get up from the floor without using her hands so she could play with her grandchildren without fear. At first, she needed a chair and both hands, but she practiced with dedication. After 3 months, she sent a video. In it, she sat on the ground, crossed her legs, and with a fluid and graceful movement, stood up without any support. The joy on her face was not just about a physical achievement, it was the joy of reclaiming herself. She didn't just get up from the ground, she rose up against the narrative of aging. Mastering this skill is like building a bridge back to your autonomy. It's a guarantee that you can move through the world with confidence, knowing you have the strength and coordination to take care of yourself. It is one of the most liberating abilities you can develop at any age. But it's not enough to just be able to stand up. To ensure that you never fall in the first place, you need to build an unshakable foundation, a base of stability that protects you from the unexpected storms of time and accidents. And that foundation is not in your feet or your legs. It lies in an area of the body that most people neglect: yet it is the key to balance and fall prevention. It is the center of your power, and keeping it free and functional is the fourth secret to a long and protected life. Without this piece, your entire structure is vulnerable, no matter how strong you are in other areas. The foundation that protects you from falls, the epicenter of your movement, resides in an area that modern life has conspired to lock up: your hips. The fourth secret is not about having strong hips, but about having free, nimby, and mobile hips. Hip mobility is not a luxury for dancers or yoga practitioners. It's a matter of survival. Think of your hips as your body's steering wheel. If the wheel is locked, you can't steer around obstacles. Stiff hips equal poor balance, and poor balance inevitably leads to falls. And for an aging person, falls are not just accidents or inconveniences. They are the silent thief that steals independence and often life itself. The scientific statistics are terrifyingly clear and direct. Study after study confirms that a hip fracture in an older adult is a catastrophic event, carrying a 20 to 30% chance of death within a year. Many who survive never regain their previous level of mobility. Your hips are not just joints, they are your life insurance, and their mobility is the policy that keeps you safe. Ancient wisdom traditions like Taoism use nature as a metaphor to teach about the body. They teach that the body should be like water, fluid, adaptable, and powerful. Rigidity, on the other hand, is a sign of stagnation, of death. A dry, rigid tree snaps in the first strong wind, while a flexible bamboo bends and survives the storm. Free and mobile hips allow vital energy, qi, to flow freely throughout the body, nourishing your organs and keeping your tissues youthful and hydrated. Stiffness in the hips creates a dam, blocking that flow and accelerating the aging process. When you move your hips freely, through their full range of motion, you are mimicking the flow of life itself. You are moving in harmony with the forces of nature rather than fighting against them. One student shared that she couldn't even bend down to put her dog's food in the bowl without sharp pain in her hip and back. After a few weeks of training her hip mobility with simple daily exercises, she sent a video, laughing, as she bent down easily and pain-free for the first time in years. She didn't just relieve a symptom, she restored a vital function. Another student was tormented by hip pain that kept her from sleeping at night. The constant pain left her exhausted and depressed. After incorporating hip mobility routines into her day, she woke up one morning and noticed something strange. Silence. The pain was gone. Your hips are your foundation, the base upon which your strength, your balance, and your ability to walk are built. Making them fail-proof, keeping them mobile and functional, is absolutely essential for a long and independent life. But even the strongest foundation and the freest hips need one final layer of protection. A force that doesn't move, but stabilizes. An invisible armor that anchors you in space and makes you unshakable. Even in the face of an unexpected stumble. This is the final link in the chain, the secret that ties all the others together and fulfills the promise of a truly age-proof body. The fifth secret, the anti-fall armor that reverses aging. Here we arrive at the central point, the secret that ties all the others together and fulfills the promise of not just slowing down, but reversing functional aging. We've already discovered the importance of hanging, squatting, getting up, and having mobile hips. But all of that can be in vain without the final piece. The strength that moves you is important, but the strength that keeps you from moving, the strength that keeps you stable, is vital. This is the fifth secret, the isometric stability of your center, your core. It is your invisible armor against the greatest enemy of longevity: falls. Isometrics means muscle contraction without movement. Think of holding a plank position or doing a wall sit. You're not moving, but your muscles are working intensely to maintain stability. This type of training builds a different kind of strength, a strength of endurance and resilience. It's this strength your body instinctively recruits in a split second when you trip on a curb. It's the quick, automatic contraction of your core that stops you from falling, or allows you to fall in a controlled way without getting seriously hurt. The lack of this stability is a silent epidemic. The medical journal, The Lancet, one of the most respected in the world, published alarming data. Falls are the second leading cause of death from accidental injury among older adults worldwide. Millions of lives are lost or drastically altered every year by something that is, in large part, preventable. Core stability is not passive. It's an active force that anchors you in space, making you unshakable. Training this ability is like installing a traction and stability control system in your own body. The Hermetic principle of polarity, taught by Thoth, states that everything has its pair of opposites, and that opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Dynamic strength, which moves your limbs through space, finds its perfect complement in static, isometric strength, which stabilizes your center. One cannot exist in its full potential without the other. Thoth, the master of balance, knew that true strength lies not only in the ability to act, but in the ability to remain steady in the face of adversity. By training isometrics, you cultivate stillness at the center of the storm, the calm in the eye of the hurricane. One student in her 50s who felt fragile and unstable started adding just 5 minutes of isometric stability training to her daily routine: planks, glute bridges, wall sits. After 3 months, she reported something profound. She said, "I feel stronger, I move better, and most importantly, I feel like myself again." Movement, in all its forms, dynamic and static, is truly the most powerful medicine there is. It reconnects you to your essence, to your life force. Now you know the 5 secrets, the 5 pillars of the temple of your body: hanging, squatting, standing, mobilizing the hips, and stabilizing the core. Each one is powerful on its own, capable of creating meaningful change. But when you begin to combine them, to practice them as an integrated system, something magical happens. They cease to be just exercises and become the ingredients of a much deeper process, an inner alchemy that goes beyond the physical and begins to transform the very essence of your being. The 5 movements you've just discovered are not a random list of exercises. They are the ingredients of a powerful alchemical ritual, a formula for personal transmutation. Alchemy, whose Western origin traces back to the teachings of Thoth in his incarnation as Hermes Trismegistus, was never just about the naive attempt to turn base metal into gold. At its deepest and truest level, the great work has always been about the transmutation of the soul itself, using the human body as the laboratory and life as the alchemical furnace. In this process, lead is not a metal, It is a symbol. It represents the dense, heavy, unconscious state of existence. Inactivity, rigidity, fear, illness, and belief in decay. Gold, in turn, symbolizes the highest state of being, vitality, freedom of movement, expanded awareness, and radiant health. The 5 movements are the alchemical operations that allow you to transform the lead of your current condition into the gold of your highest potential. Each movement is a deliberate step in this sacred process of purification and elevation. Let's look at them through the lens of alchemy. The first secret, hanging, corresponds to the phase of dissolution, solutio. In this stage, you dissolve the old structures, the adhesions and compressions that kept you stiff and limited. You surrender to gravity and allow what's stuck to be released. The second secret, the deep squat, is calcination, calcinatio. Here you use the fire of effort and your connection to the earth to burn away impurities, weaknesses, and limitations in your mobility, reducing your body to its essential foundation. The third secret, rising from the ground, represents separation, separatio. In this act, you separate the weak from the strong, dependence from autonomy. You discern and choose strength, leaving behind fragility. The fourth secret, hip mobility, is conjunction, conjuncture, the sacred union of opposites. You unite the upper and lower parts of your body in a harmonious flow, integrating heaven and earth within you. And the fifth secret, isometric stability, is coagulation, coagulatio, where you solidify your new strength, giving it a resilient and lasting form. Together, these 5 movements form a complete cycle of death and rebirth that occurs within you during every practice session. You are dying to your old, limited, fragile self and being reborn into a new self, vibrant and free. On the emerald tablet it is written, "You shall separate the earth from the fire, the subtle from the dense, with great skill." That is exactly what you do when you practice these movements. You separate stiffness from flexibility, weakness from strength, illusion from truth. You become the alchemist of your own being. The daily ritual, the non-negotiables of being human. Knowing the 5 secrets is having the map, but the journey only begins when you take the first step, then the second, and the third, day after day. These 5 movements are not a passing fitness program that you do for a few weeks and then abandon. They are, as the original text calls them, human non-negotiables. That means they are just as essential to your health, longevity, and well-being as breathing, drinking water, and sleeping. They are the foundational maintenance your body requires to function as it was designed. Integrating these movements into your daily life is what transforms knowledge into wisdom, theory into lived reality in your own body. It's not about finding an open hour in your schedule to work out, it's about a paradigm shift. It's about weaving these movements into the fabric of your day, turning the maintenance of your body into a sacred ritual, a meditation in motion. You can hang for 30 seconds when you wake up, do a few squats while waiting for the water to boil, practice getting up from the floor while watching TV, and move your hips before going to bed. The path is progressive and infinitely adaptable. It meets you exactly where you are right now. If you're a complete beginner, you can use a chair for support while hanging, elevate your heels on a book to squat, and use both hands to stand up from the floor. The goal is not perfection, it's progress. The intermediate practitioner will aim for independence, increasing hang time, deepening the squat, and reducing hand support. The journey is yours, and every small improvement, every extra second, every added inch of range, is a victory against entropy, a statement of your life force. The advanced practitioner begins exploring variations, adding load, complexity, and fluidity, transforming what once was an exercise into a form of art, an expression of their own vitality. The beauty of this system is that it grows with you. It never becomes outdated, because the goal isn't a final destination, but a continuous process of refinement and self-discovery. You are engaged in a constant dialogue with your body, listening to its signals and responding with the movement it needs. Thousands of everyday people of all ages and fitness levels have already walked this path. From elite athletes looking to optimize their performance to older adults who simply wanted to tie their shoes without pain. They rediscovered the joy of movement, healed chronic pain doctors said was permanent, and reclaimed independence they thought was lost forever. Their stories are living proof that this knowledge works. But many of them, along the way, discovered something even deeper. They began by seeking pain relief or physical improvement, but found something that goes far beyond bodily longevity. They stumbled upon a transformation that touches the very nature of existence, a realization that connects them to the final promise of Thoth's wisdom, the recognition of their own divinity. As you embark on this journey and commit to the daily ritual, you begin to uncover a deep and transformative truth. Movement doesn't just slow aging, it reverses it. Not in a magical sense of turning back time, but in a functional and biological one. You begin to move better than you did 10 years ago. Pains you accepted as part of life simply disappear. The energy and vitality you thought belonged only to youth begin pulsing through your veins again. The testimonials are undeniable, living proof. People like Chris, who rediscovered the joy of rolling on the floor and playing with his children. Patricia, who lived in fear of falling and now walks with confidence, having regained her independence. Sharon, who for years suffered from chronic pain that kept her from sleeping, and now wakes up refreshed and pain-free. They didn't just change their bodies, they fundamentally changed their relationship with life. They tore away the illusion of aging and saw what was behind it. An unlimited potential for healing, regeneration, and joy that lives inside each of us, waiting to be awakened. This is the culmination of Thoth's wisdom and Hermetic philosophy. It's the recognition that you are not just a mortal body, a biological machine destined to decay and turn to dust. As written in the Corpus Hermeticum, the collection of texts attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, man on earth is a mortal god, and the heavenly god is an immortal man. You are a dual being, a bridge between two worlds, mortal in body but immortal in soul and spirit. You are the consciousness of the universe experiencing itself in human form. The practice of these 5 sacred movements is the building of that bridge. It is the alchemical process by which you infuse your mortal, dense, physical body with the awareness of your immortal, light and energetic soul. You stop treating your body as a burden or an enemy and begin honoring it as the sacred temple it is, the precious vehicle that allows your soul to experience this reality. Conscious movement becomes your prayer, your meditation, your act of devotion to the divine that lives within you. If you've made it this far, you are no longer the same person who began this video. You felt the call and you are ready to reclaim power over your own body and your own time. So I know you're part of this awakened group. Leave the phrase in the comments. Time has no power over me. Your journey to the end of this video is already a huge help in spreading this message to more people. And if you feel in your heart that you can support our channel in a more direct way, so we can keep sharing content like this, there's a link to contribute in the first pinned comment. Any help is greatly appreciated by me and the growth of the channel, and I'm deeply grateful for it. But honestly, just the fact that you made it here and share this video with someone who needs to hear this, you're already making a massive difference. And before you go, your journey doesn't have to end now. I've selected a special video for you to take the next step, diving even deeper into this knowledge so you can apply it in a real and practical way. Don't leave just yet. Click the video that's showing on the screen now, and I'll meet you there. See you on the other side.